What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Welcome back to another poker vlog. And today, last time you saw some PLO action, and today, no different. Jumping right back into it, trying to mix things up. 2021 has been a pretty slow start for me, so let's just ride the variance, play some PLO. I'm getting really into it. It's a lot of fun, and they have 3 tables of 2-2 running today, so we're gonna hop into that. Hopefully you guys enjoy. It's going to be super new. I'm probably gonna play horribly, but we're learning the game, and that's kind of it. Just documenting the journey of poker. And right now, I am kind of feeling the PLO vibes right now. If you want to get more up-to-date and current stuff of what I'm doing, follow me on Instagram. It's Rampage Poker with 2 A's and the second A. We'll get into it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Might be a fun one, might be a crazy one. Let's see what we're in for. Another PLO session, starting things up with $500 in our stack. Let's strap in, guys. First hand looking down at ace 4, 7, 9, 3 spades in the cutoff. There are 2 limpers to me, and I decided to put in $5. It seems pretty loose, but we're in position, so I limp. Now the button raises to $20, and all 3 of us limpers make the call. Yeah, probably should just be a fold pre-flop, but let's go to a flop. The flop comes 4, 5, 9, 2 clubs, and action checks to me. I'm actually going to be donk leading here because I think I have 2 pair, and I think it seems okay to donk for value, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but when I donk out $50, the button raises to $200, and he's someone who covers me with a much larger stack than I. Next, an early position player snap calls an all-in for $150 total. Now action onto me. There's a lot of money in here, and there's a lot of interest, it seems. I'm sitting with top and bottom pair, and my hand is pretty much as good as it can get right now. I'm just not sure if we're supposed to be calling the $200 given this action. I don't know, dude. I'm literally sitting there, and I just feel like folding might be the better play. So I just let it go because I don't really see many runouts that would be in our favor. But we fold and we get to see a run out, so let's sweat that one out.
Flush draw and a straight draw. I got a flush draw, so yours is probably better than mine. Go good.
Oh, if you say that, it probably is.
No further clubs come, and the early position player wins with Jack 5 for 2 pair. The button said that he had a flush draw and a pair of jacks. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, we would have won with ace 9. But I guess we should be a little bit more sticky with 2 pair. I'm not really sure. Starting off the session very confused, but let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this hand. Next, after that, picking up ace, ace, 6 deuce with 2 clubs. We're on the big blind, and there's a button straddle. I open things up to $20, and we get 3 players around the table to make the call. Then onto the button to close the action, and he does not call. He pots it to $125. Well, this is good. Gives us the opportunity to repot it. All I know is that if you have aces, you just want to get all the money in pre-flop and hope for the best. So now I can play this pretty standardly and repot it and isolate since the button is fairly short. I announce pots, and the dealer spits out the number of $435. So we just oblige and put that money in there. Honestly, I'm not really quick with calculating the pot numbers yet. But action folds back to the button player who makes the call. He doesn't have $400 in his stack, maybe around $200-300. He announces that he has aces and 2 other random cards. Let's go to a run out. Hopefully we can see clubs or some sort of random 6 deuce run out. Let's go sweat it out.
My other 2 are not great.
I had 8, 9, 10 queen. I had same exact thing. I hit one.
Oh, I had an
ace is an ace. Ace is an ace.
I'll take it.
We show both of our hands, aces and 8s for 2 pair, chop this up, and we split some of the dead money from the callers of 20. In this next spot, we're on the button, and there's an Untitled Straddle looking down at king 10, 9, 6, 2 diamonds. There's a few limpers to me, and I'm just going to limp this in there, putting the $5. Onto the Untitled Straddler, who raises to $15, and everyone is going to call 15. We're going 5 ways to the flop, and it comes queen, jack, 8, 2 spades. Flopping the nuts, flopping the straight. Okay, I know how to play this hand now. Action checks to me, and I throw out a bet of $60. I don't really want to pot it for some reason. I feel like potting it seems super strong, and $60 I can get a call. I don't know what I'm thinking, man. But we isolate the field as only the small blind makes the call, and he has a really short stack of only $120 total. So let's hope to fade a spade here when we go heads up to the turn. The turn is the 7 of clubs. He checks to us, and this is just a great card to see. For some reason, I decided to throw out a smaller bet here of only $65, hoping this might induce a light call, some sort of small flush draw or something like that, or maybe hope that he's able to re-jam and just commit his whole stack in there anyways. Anyways, he thinks about it and just makes the call for 65, leaving himself like 55 bucks remaining, going to a river. The river's a queen, not an ideal card with the board pairing. We don't love seeing that, but he checks to us, and I'm not really sure if I can go all in for value. Not really sure what else is going to call for 55 bucks. So I decided to just check this back, play this a little bit more passively. He says he missed his draw, and I just show my hand for the nut straight. And we're going to take this pot down, but probably a mistake for not jamming turn. I just wanted a little more value, I guess.
They all tie in together neatly. Yeah, I'll never forget, I'm sitting here playing the 2-5.
In this next spot, picking up King, Deuce 5 with 2 spades in the small blind and a button straddle. With pocket kings, yeah, we're going to open this one up to $20, and somehow we actually go heads up. Only the cutoff makes the call, and we are off to a flop. The flop comes King, Deuce, 8, 2 hearts, and I'm out of position here. This player is short. I kind of want to commit stacks, and I decided to check because I thought that was the best way to get all the money in. Clearly not. That's a mistake because he checks it back. The turn comes the 8 of hearts. It's not the best card in the world since the flush draw did get there. So once again, with this line already taken, I check. He throws out another bet of $55, which happened to be the pot or something like that. And he's got $5 behind. So we're just going to go all in for $60 total, I guess. I'm not really going to fold this. Hopefully we can just have the board pair and be confident in having the winner. So I rip it all in for 60, and he calls for $5 more. Going to a river, which is another ace. Not great. I show my full house, kings full of aces, but he shows us ace 8 for a higher boat, and we're just going to ship him the pot here. Hand following that with king, jack, 5, 6, double suited. We're in the big blind, and there's an under the gun straddle, and the small blind opens it up to $15. Looking back, this probably just seems like a fold, but for some reason I thought that the double suitedness of the cards was, I guess, a good thing. Not entirely sure, but I call, and the under the gun straddler calls. Flop 3 ways comes jack, jack, 7, rainbow. Small blind checks to me, and flopping trips here. Let's just throw out a bet and see what happens. I throw out 20 bucks. The under the gun player folds, and the small blind pre-flop raiser makes the call. Off to a turn, which is a deuce. He checks to us, and I feel like with trips here, we can just check it back. Hopefully we can find a way to boat up or something like that. I'm not sure, but I check it back. The river is the 8 of hearts. Now the small blind throws out a bet of $35. I'm not entirely sure if calling here is too fishy. I have absolutely no idea how strong my trips is. I only have the king kicker, there are no full houses, and it seems like a lot of river bets here would just be boats. So I just decide on a fold here with only a king kicker. Yeah, I guess turns out it was the wrong fold when I showed him a jack because he shows us aces. Seems like we are over folding here a lot at PLO. I'm not sure, but I'd love some feedback in the comments below. Alrighty, this time it's our turn to pick up aces. We look down at ace, ace, queen, 8 with 2 spades, and we're on the button. There are 2 limpers to me, and I decide to pot it or raise it to $20. The big blind cold calls the 20, and only one of the limpers call, so we're going to a flop 3 ways. Flop is king, deuce, deuce, rainbow, and action checks to me. As much as I have 1 pair or 2 pair in this spot, it seems like an okay flop, but the players have 8 cards, and I'm sure one of the 8 cards could be a deuce, so I decided to just check it back and see a turn. The turn is the jack of clubs, brings in a backdoor flush draw. The big blind checks. Now the limper throws out a bet of $35. Now onto me. I really didn't check on the flop to fold on this turn bet. We also have a gutter and the best 2 pair combinations, so I put in my $35 and the other guy folds. Let's try to improve on the river. The river comes the 9 of clubs. So backdoor flush draw gets there, and the limper now throws out another bet of $55. This just seems like a spot where he's going for thin value, and I'm holding the ace of clubs, so blocking the nut flush seems like an okay spot to go for a raise as a bluff. I'm not really sure because it is a paired board, so there are some boat combinations that aren't really going to be folding, but I'm just experimenting here. We're learning the game. We're very new to PLO. I have the nut flush blocker, so I raise it up to $200. He thinks and ends up folding his hand face up, showing 8-7 of clubs. It's nice to get that bluff through, and I just show him aces here. And yeah, I don't know. It's nice to get PLO bluffs through because I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Next, picking up ace, 7, 7, 9, 2 diamonds on the button. There are 2 limpers, and the cutoff raises to $20. Once again, this seems loose, but the cutoff has shown to be super aggressive, so we just want to get a little bit involved. I make the call for 20, and we're going to go 4 ways to the flop. Flop comes 8, 7, 4, rainbow. The set is good, but it's not great to be not nutted in PLO. We're sitting with the 3rd nuts here on this flop, but action checks to the cutoff who c-bets pot of $105. Yeah, facing this really large bet into multi-way action, I don't know, but I didn't flop a set to fold, so I just make the call for 105 and the other players fold. Let's go to a turn. Turn is an 8. Boating up is beautiful. He rips it all in for $80 total, and with only 80 bucks, obviously we're snapping it off with a boat. The river is a total brick. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but we show our boats, and he ends up mucking his card, so we don't get to see what he had. But we take this pot down, and finally, it's nice to be unstuck for the session so far. In this next hand, we pick up King, King, Deuce, 3 on the big blind, and it's a 5-way limped pot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record the pre-flop action. I was typing out notes for another hand, but we're going to a flop, 5 ways limped. Flop comes King, King, 6. Can you really believe that? Another situation where we flop quads, and here in the big blind, I check, and action actually ends up checking around. So we're going to a turn, and it's going to be a little difficult for us to lose. The turn comes in 9. The small blind throws out a bet of $15. We love that. We're just going to slow play this with quads. It's pretty disguised, and it's hard for us to get value from much of anything. I just call $15, and now even better news. The cutoff pots it, and it's for his entire stack. He only has $65, so he's all in for $65 total. I'm really praying for the small blind to call since he's also got a pretty big stack, but unfortunately, he lets his hand go, and yeah. I ask if there's a high hand because I'm really never folding quads here. I make the call, we show our hand, and we're going to take this pot down. Even better, there is a PLO high hand bonus running right now, and quad kings is on the line for it. So we're going to sweat this one out for the next hour and a half. Hopefully we can win our 500 bucks.
Kaboom! Shaboogie.
After the madness of flopping quads, we pick up another premium looking hand, I'm not sure, but this one looks cool. Queen, Jack, Jack, 9, 2 clubs. We're on the button, and an early position player opens it up to $20 over a limper. I just make the call in the button. I feel like I could be 3-betting this sometimes, but whatever. I call 20, and the big blind, who's been very aggressive, puts in the 3-bet himself to $85. This big blind player, super aggro, been pushing the variant, pushing the action, so when the early position player makes the call, I think I have a very playable hand, so I call as well in position. Flop comes King, 8, Deuce with 2 clubs, and the big blind pots it now to $265, and he's got $30 behind, so pretty much all in at this point on the flop. The early position player folds, and now onto me. I have a strong-ish draw. Queen high flush draw, second nuts. I have runner outs to a straight, and I'm really not sure whether I should be calling or folding here because he has so little behind. I guess PLO is really all about gambling because I have no idea. I thought about this for a while. Initially, I thought I wanted to fold, but I talked myself into a jam because this seems like a decent spot to do it. Not really sure, so I just rip it all in for $295 effective. And obviously, he's going to make the call. So before we go to run out, let me know in the comment section below. I know I'm asking you guys a lot, but let me know if this is the right jam or the wrong jam. But yeah, he calls, and let's go to the turn. The turn is a jack, which is beautiful. And the river actually improves us because it's a club. Sitting with the second nut flush, we show our hand. The other player mucks, and we end up winning a big one.
He's beating me on the turn, too.
With a set?
Yeah. You got 7 or 8.
Now I look at the rest of them.
Noted.
An orbit or two later, we pick up another juicy hand, queen, queen, king 5 with 2 diamonds in the small blind. There's a few limpers to me, and I'm out of position. I decided to limp to hopefully see a cheap flop. The big blind calls the $5, and now the Untitled Straddle raises to 30. All the limpers fold back to me, and I don't think I limped pocket queens to fold. Although it's not really that playable, I make the call, and so does the big blind. Off to a flop, which comes jack 9 deuce 2 clubs. Action checks to the ungun player, who throws out a bet of $100, and now on to me. We're out of position, and we're against the same player as last hand, who's been pushing the action a lot, being super aggressive. And here I have an overpair, I have a gutter, and sometimes I can bluff clubs holding the queen of clubs. So if there's someone to call late against, it's certainly against this guy. I make the call, and the big blind folds. Off to a turn, which comes another 9, the 9 of hearts. Very not ideal situation, so I check. Once again, he pushes the action and throws out a bet of $215. I really thought about folding here facing this bet, but I've been watching this player play for the past few orbits, and he's just full throttle and certainly can be bluffing. So, yeah, I just talked myself into a call with an overpair with one pair on a paired board. Not great, but realistically, what's he repping here? So I put in the chips, and hopefully we can see a 10 to make my life super easy. Off to a river, which is the 4 of hearts. What a total blank. I check here, hoping he's just going to slow his roll and relax, but that is not what he does. He now pots it to $730 total. Facing this huge pot size bet, we just have a ridiculously tough decision to make. I didn't call the turn because I thought that I was behind, but once this river comes, it's a total brick, and I don't know, like in PLO, one pair is never good here, but I also want to play a little bit exploitatively against this player. I think holding the queen of clubs in my hand is also a pretty terrible card to hold as well, since it blocks so many combinations of draws that he could be betting. But about 1 minute into the tank, he gets really annoyed at me and tells me to hurry up, make a decision, and figure my shit out. So this action now, hearing this from him in my gut, feels like he wants a fold. He seemed really genuine and really annoyed about me thinking the situation over, which after a minute seems like a reasonable amount of time facing a $700 bet. So now I just have a much easier decision to call. So given that action, you know, whatever, we're going to give this guy some action because he can certainly be bluffing here. So I toss in a chip for a call, and he rolls over jack 10, 8-7. So it took some time for me to figure this out. I asked the dealer if it's only just one pair of jacks. He's not happy with it because it is just a pair of jacks and the 10 kicker. We roll over our pocket queens. He is quite pissed off, but I'm happy to have the largest PLO pot I've ever played go my way. Once again, guys, folding is boring, and sometimes it just might get you paid.
What a call! I'm sitting there and I want to say, I folded a 9!
Alrighty, this next spot with king 10, queen 5 on the button. There are 4 limpers total. I limped this one in position, felt like I could play the 3 connected cards. And now the big blind, who has been tilting from the last hand, he pots it or raises it up to $30. The early position player makes the call, and I'm just never going to fold against this player in position. Let's just see a flop 3 ways. Flop comes king 10 deuce rainbow. This is a pretty good flop for us, sitting with top 2. It's not nutted, but nutted enough, I think. The big blind c-bets $65, and now we are in a tricky spot because the big stack in early position, he announces pot, and that's a sizing of $320. And I'm just thinking in my head now, I am in a funky, funky spot. I'm not sure what to do because the big blind doesn't have much behind in his stack, and the early position player behind this $320 bet has got 1,000 after that, and we are playing similar size stacks. I'm not sure what to do, but end of the day, long story short, we call the 320 because top two's fine. Big blind jams for $385 total, and for $65 more, obviously, the early position and myself are going to make the call. So the pot is massive, and we're going to a dry side pot. The turn comes the 5 of clubs. There's 2 clubs on the board now, and early position player throws out a bet of $500 with $430-ish behind. I'm in a terrible spot. We have 3 pair, and folding seems terrible because of how priced in we are. So that only leads to one option, and that's to go all in. I rip it all in, and we're just kind of praying that we are just good or chopping, I don't know, but he doesn't look happy once I announce all in, which is a decent sign, I guess, but ends up calling since he already committed so much of his stack. Going to a river 3 ways with a massive pot. The river is a total blank, and we show our hand. He also has king 10, so we chop up the side pots. And now the big blind shows aces, so me and Dom chop up the main pot. Nice hand, man.
All right, Dom, nice hand, man. Way to make my life very difficult.
With you.
Chop it up. Alrighty, guys, and for the 3 girls that are watching this, thanks for tuning in, for staying to the end. Anyways, this PLO session, what an absolute ride. I think I've played PLO like 10 times, and my win rate at PLO is too high. But like I still don't have a clue what I'm doing, and we're running pretty good. That hero call, my goodness, he was not happy about that in the slightest. I've never seen anyone so upset. But like, I don't know, I love the hero call. Fuck it, that was amazing. I can't believe I won that pot. So we played for a few hours of PLO, and we were in the game for 800, out of the game for 2485, or 2480 actually, minus the tip. And then we won the high hand actually. The quad kings held somehow. They have a 2-hour high hand bonus for 500 bucks. So that's a plus $450 minus the tip. Shout out to Justin for dealing that quad kings hand. And that's it, that's the total. I don't really know the final, I think it's like $2,100, something like that. So that's a monster PLO session. You bet your ass I'm gonna play some more PLO, and I'm gonna donate the $2,100 I won today back to the game. But, or at least we're riding the high for now. It's a nice change of pace. It's something that I felt like I needed to do because Hold'em wasn't going smoothly. And we just gotta mix things up, and I'm really happy that things went well today. I've got a lot to learn in PLO, so I'm looking forward to learning from the comment section. It's like I'm relearning the game all over again, and there's a lot of things that I don't know. So with that said, I think it's gonna be the one time I say with that said in this video. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know if you guys wanna see some more PLO content. I know it's not super popular, but there's a ton of action, and we're good for action. With that said, fuck, I said it again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.